Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Dave from Otaku, and today I'm going to show you guys how I have started making Subs2SRS decks. I'm not really using these a lot yet, but I know that they're a great resource for me in the future when I start really deep diving into sense mining and once I finish with all the Tango decks. And I've kind of been like messing around for the past couple of months on how to do this. So I'm going to show you an example today and go through the whole process from start to finish and show you how quick and easy it can be. And I'm going to use an anime that is not ideal for making a Subs2SRS deck with. So today we're going to be using an anime, History of the World's Strongest Disciple Kenichi. Sorry about that. This is an anime that I watched when I was younger and I loved, and I thought it'd be a great resource for me to study because it's fairly long. It's like 50 episodes long, but it's not like super long like One Piece or anything like that. And you know, you definitely get a lot of sentences out of it because Kenichi goes through a lot of wild, crazy situations, right? So the first thing you obviously have to do is get a copy of the anime, download all the episodes, however you're going to do that. And the next thing you need to do is be able to get subtitle files. Best place that I found, I basically got this site from First Japan, but the best place I found to get subtitles files is from this website right here. It's got a lot of stuff, as you guys can see, right? It's got hundreds and hundreds of subtitle files for different shows. No guarantee that they'll definitely have the show that you want, but they might. It's a good chance, right? But when you do search this site, make sure you're searching for the Japanese name of a show that you like, not the American name. So obviously, like this show is not listed under History of the World's Strongest Disciple Kenichi. You know, it's Shijo Saikyo no Deshi Kenichi, right? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and find it. For this one, it was pretty easy. It was just a matter of going in here, and it literally had all 50 episodes in one file, and you rip that, right? So cool, easy day. But unfortunately, two things. One, this anime that I downloaded, this is kind of an older anime, so it's got hard sub files, right? And two, the subtitle files that I have for this anime do not line up perfectly. So I can show you guys right now, obviously he's talking. You can see the lower subtitle files that are hard lined in, right? And you can see that the subs that are going right now, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I'll tell you right now, they don't line up properly. So, go ahead and stop that. So what you have to do is you need to at least line up the subtitle files the right way. So the way you do that, I've already figured out the amount of time that it needs for, I've noticed that for all of these episodes, it was exactly 9 seconds off. So all you need to do is, in this situation, you need to have another program right here. I've been using Agisub. So you just go ahead and open up the subtitle file for the episode that you're going to be working on, or all the episodes or whatever. If somebody knows how to do multiple subtitle files at once, let me know, because I haven't figured that shit out yet, but I've only learned how to do just one at a time. So, and what I'm going to do is I have the subtitle file loaded in here, go to timing, go to shift times. I'm going to move it by 9 seconds. You can see it's already saved in here from the other episodes I've done. So this is episode 13. I've already done 1 through 12. So hit that. Cool. Okay. Boom, should have moved everything. And then I'm just gonna double check that this loaded up properly. So, super important, if you have the episode still open in VLC, you need to hit stop and unload it from VLC player before you try to save it, because otherwise it won't work. So file, save subtitles as. Cool. So this subtitle file was originally a .srt, and now it's being moved over to a .as file. So there you go, .as. It's all about .as. Cool. So now that's been saved in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the old SRT file, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut this out of here and put it into this subs not edited deck, or folder that I made rather. So now it's not even in there. You'll notice that my subs are named exactly the same way as my episodes. The reason why is that way VLC player automatically knows that subtitle file goes directly with that episode. So now if I open up episode 13, which is the one I just changed, the subtitle file should be perfect. Alright, cool. Now they line up perfect. and they're also saved to my settings that I had. I made them a little bit bigger, a little bit more bold, so I could read them a little easier. Also, it's a little easier to read if they're larger like this on your phone. Sometimes I'll load them up my phone, and like while I'm at the gym, like on a treadmill or something like that or whatever, I'll play an episode, and it's a little easier to read if I'm trying to read subtitles. Good deal. All right, so now that I know that works, I can go ahead and close that. I got my episodes, all loaded up in here. So now what I will do, so you need to kind of be smart about this, right? So I'm only going to make a deck with the first 13 episodes for right now, just for, example's sake. So I'm going to go ahead and take everything that I'm not using. So episode 14 on, I'm going to go ahead and put that in a different folder, and you guys will see why in a second. And then same thing with the episodes. So episode 14 on, because use everything up to 13, 2 I guess, whatever. So put that all in the not in deck folder. Cool. So it should all line up perfectly, right? Awesome. All right, cool. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the subtitle files, and I'm going to put those in a separate deck too. And I know this seems like a lot of work, but trust me, it'll make life a lot easier. So I got episodes 1 through 13 subtitle files. I'm going to put it in this subs folder that I made. You can name the folders whatever you want, it doesn't matter. And then I have episode 1 through 13 just in this regular folder, right? Cool. So now I'm going to go to Subs2SRS. All right, so this first line right here is for your subtitles file. What you're going to want to put in here is just like the subtitle file that you put in that folder called subs. So cool. I put all mine in the subs file. Then you're just gonna click on the first one and hit open. And then what you're gonna do is you're going to go down to the end here, and you're gonna put in a selector. So right now it's listed as just the subtitle file for just episode 1. Go ahead and delete all of that. After you can keep the bracket or not, or however you named it, and then go ahead and put an asterisk in there. The reason why you needed to put it in a separate folder is because if you tried to do this, then it would try to not only read just the subtitle files in this situation, it would also try to read all the episodes if you have them named the same so they line up with the VLC player just right. Cool. So then you're going to go to your output folder, and I'm just going to have it output to this folder right here. It should automatically make a deck for a folder for me for the other part. Right, you can see I have a couple other decks in here so far, so that should be good. Just hit OK. Subs2, this is if you wanted to put like English subtitles in here, which doesn't make too much sense to me because most of the time English subtitles are not translated exact like word for word, so it doesn't necessarily fit our purposes too well. And then this is optional, but you can also put in a video stream here, and this is great, and I will because what it'll do is it'll automatically add images in for you, or video if you want, but that's a lot of data. So now in this situation, you're just going to click on a video file. It's going to put that in there, right? And you're going to do the same exact thing as you did before with the subtitle. Just go right to the end of it and go ahead and delete off the end part, and then just throw an asterisk in there. It's going to be a wildcard selector, and then the audio stream should be automatic, but sometimes it'll list like English or Japanese, and go ahead and select that. Same with this. Make sure this says this Unicode UTF-8 because it just means Asian languages. Cool. You can actually crop the bottom of the picture. Like I said, that video actually had hard subs in it. So what you can do is you can just go right in here and then type in how many pixels you want to get rid of. I think 60 is probably enough. You can put 100. It doesn't really matter. But if you crop from the bottom, it'll cut off all those hard subs. It's awesome. This is already built in there. After that, what you're going to want to do is you want to name the deck. And this one, I can just put Kenichi for now. And then you want to say what episode it's going to start on. So say if you did the first 15 episodes or whatever of a show, and then you wanted to do the next 10 or whatever, you can just put the episode in there and make sure that the deck is named correctly, and you would be good to go. And then what's awesome is you can just hit preview right here. And then it'll give you a preview of what's going on, right? So you can actually see what each subtitle file looks like. right? So it gives you like a little picture and it gives you the sentence, right? And then the sub, if you put like the English subs in there, they pop down here. And then, I mean, you can even just kind of like generate the audio and preview that to make sure it lines out properly. So cool. And this is a great way to test to make sure the deck came out right. So I just previewed that. I don't know if you guys could hear it or not, but it lined up perfectly with what this said. So that's awesome. Cool. And then you can also cut out things like, you'll notice sometimes if you come here, like it's got like the music notes and stuff, you can cut those out. I'll just cut them out later. Yeah, it's not too hard to do. Cool. And then from here, all you need to do is just hit go, and then it'll start building the deck. So I'll go ahead and hit go now, and it should do all 15 or all 13 episodes rather, and it should be good to go. So I'm gonna hit go. So this is gonna take a while to build though, right? So it's going to start extracting the audio from the video files and stuff and just doing its thing. Just let it go. And yeah, cool. I'll be back in a little bit once this is done. Cool. So at this point, the deck has been pretty much created. So what you're going to need to do is now make the proper card type. So what you're going to want to do is first open up your TSV file, which Anki or Subs2SRS rather created. And the best way to do this is to actually go into a spreadsheet file. I'm using Libra down here, and just open it up in there. It's literally just file open and then open up that TSV file. It's just a lot easier to use. And then you're going to want to look at all of the actual column names or all of the actual column entries to figure out which areas you're going to want to put in for each of your card type, and I'll show you that in just a second. So if you pull this back up here, you'll notice that if I open this up, that the card type that they actually gave me originally from Subs2SRS was wrong, so I actually had to edit it to make it better and to fit what Subs2SRS actually doled out. So you want to make sure that it pretty much lines up like this. So the first column is going to be tag, which you can see over there is the episode name. So episode 1, and if I scroll down, you can see that it's episode 2 and stuff. Then you're going to have your sequence marker, which would be the next part. There's a tag there. Next part's going to be your sequence marker, which is going to be that next row, and then your audio, which is the row after that, and then your actual images, which is the row after that, and then your sentences, which are actually the subtitle file, which is the expression. And then I use the reading one for Furigana, and then the meaning one for English translations, or if you guys have done the monolingual transition, your J2J translations, yeah, basically. And that's how you load it up. So, but a really cool trick though is if you take all of this and then you put it in a Google spreadsheet, you can do some pretty awesome stuff. So hold up and I'll show you that. Awesome. So all I've done here is taken the file that was originally in Libre or whatever spreadsheet file you're using in, and I moved it over to Google Spreadsheet. That's because Google Spreadsheet can automatically translate for you using the Google Translate tool, which isn't the best, as we all know, but it's definitely a cool tool to use if you just want a quick and dirty translation. So all you need to do is type in this calculation, or this equation rather. So it's like equal translate, and then you're going to go ahead and select whatever cell you want to translate, which is obviously going to be your subtitle cell or the one with the Japanese in it. And then you're going to type in JA and then comma and then EN. And this will give you an automatic translation. It takes a little bit, but all you need to do is go ahead and hit enter here. And obviously this is just going to translate a music note, but if you click on it and then click in the bottom corner and drag down through the whole entire file, it's going to give you a translation. So let me load that up for you a second. It takes a little bit to load up, so give me just a second and then I'll show you guys what the end result is. So here's the end result. Basically, if you wanted to keep all that, all you would really need to do is copy that and then paste that back into your original TSV file, back in your original spreadsheet file, right? And then you would just hit save as, and then you could save it as a .tsv or a text CSV, same thing, and then move it over. I'm not going to do that just because I like to add my own translations as I go, but if you want a quick way to add a bunch of translated sentences, it's an awesome way to do it. So, okay, let's go ahead and close this. I'm not going to save it because I didn't need it. Cool. Awesome. And now we know that it all lines up. So all you really need to do from here is start importing your Anki deck into this card system. So close that out. And then you're going to go ahead and hit import file. You're going to go to whatever file folder you made sure that Anki, or rather Subs2SRS, would save this in. Cool. And then you're just going to click on the TSV file and load that in. Open. Cool. And then you're just going to want to make sure you click on the right selectors here. So there are two things that you want to make sure that you hit here. You want to make sure that you move it down to this bottom selection here, which is import even if it has the same name. And then you also want to make sure you click that allow HTML in all fields. I didn't do it in this part of the video, but I ended up having to do it later on. And then make sure that it all lines up. And then from here, you should be able to go right to import. The reason why you need to make sure it doesn't say the same name is because our first field is our tag field as opposed to our sequence marker, because that's the way Subs2SRS builds it. So import, and boom, over 5,000 cards. Easy day. So go ahead and close that. And we'll move on to the next part. So basically all you really need to do from here is load all of your files in. So what you're going to want to do is go to your Anki collection folder. I have mine mapped, but if you look here real quick, it's just usually under your app data, and then under your name, and then Anki2, and then you just want to click on the proper deck that you're actually putting in, or rather the proper profile. So in this situation, I went under David, but it actually needs to go into my test one, and I actually had to fix that too. So all you're going to do is go back to that original folder that you had, and drag and drop all of those in there. So I went back to my Kenichi media folder as opposed to the TSV file, and I just grabbed all of that, copied it, Control A, Control C, went back to my collection media folder, and then you just literally pasted it in there, and that's pretty much what you got to do. And then it's going to take a little bit to move it over because it's a lot of files if you're doing a big deck like this. But yeah, not too bad, right? Cool. All right, and then I'll show you the next part in just a second here, guys. Awesome. So we've moved everything over, so now I should be able to just go to my browse link, click on the deck that I loaded everything in, and you should be able to see cards right away. You can see that there's an image in there, and there's also audio. If you just kind of like open up any one, you can see, oh wow, it works, right? This is awesome. And this is a great way to make a lot of cards. Just hit preview, and it should play for you right there. So, the only bad part is with using hard subs. You'll notice that like in this situation, there was writing on the bottom of the screen, so the person who put the hard subs in was at the top. They put the hard subs in at the top. So that kind of sucks, but it's not too big of a deal. Yeah. In that case, you could just delete the image if you wanted to, or not use the card at all. For me, in this situation, I already know all the words in this card, so I wouldn't use it anyways. But if you wanted to, you could still just take the image or crop the image if you wanted to. It's a lot of work. But for example, in some of these other situations, like this card was still perfectly fine, even though it was a dumb card because it's just off. But looking at some of the other cards that we got going on here, like here's a pretty good example, or even this one right here. If you preview the card, it shows you, you got your image and you got your sentence, and then all you would need to do is go ahead and copy this sentence here and then paste it into the reading section, and then it should automatically add furigana in. Sorry about that. And then for the meaning, you could just put your own definition in, or you can use the Google Translate definition that we found, or you can find a J2J definition, whatever works best for you. Cool. And so from there, we're going to go ahead and close this out, and I'll show you how to export it real quick. So what you're going to do is you're going to go down to this little drop down menu here and click export. should load up faster than this. My computer's being a little slow now because I'm both recording and doing all this Anki and Subs2SRS. So what you're going to want to do is make sure it's this file type here, and go ahead and which decks you want to include. You might want to not include scheduling information, but include media, and then hit export. And then this is a great way so you can share it with other people in the community. And a great place to do this is at this website actually over here. I do not own this site. I don't know who owns this site, but it's a great resource. Just go ahead and load up the site real quick. Cool. And then you just click here. And this site has a bunch of pre-built Anki decks that are really awesome. They're all Subs2SRS decks made from, you know, different animes and shows and books and video games even, and stuff like that. It's really great. And there's dozens and dozens of shows in here. As you scroll through, you could look at like different ones that they have. Like a lot of really popular stuff, you know, Harry Potter, Full Metal Alchemist, Brotherhood, I think 1 and 2 Harry Potter for the books, Hunter x Hunter, and a bunch of other really great stuff. So I'll make sure that I include a link to this website in the description below, along with links to all the different programs you'll be using and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So we've gone through everything from taking an episode of an anime and fixing the subs and how to deal with hard subs, to turning it into SRS deck and importing that SRS deck into Anki, and then how to export it to, and basically do all the steps. I hadn't seen a video like this yet, that's why I wanted to make this one. I apologize if the video is kind of long, but hopefully it's still really helpful for you guys. And yeah, you know, maybe this will come in help for the future. All right, thanks guys.